Give it to me like.
Welcome to Cocktails for Breakfast. I'm your host, Sophie.
And I'm your host, Bailey.
I just want to say, thank you to SOS Save Our Souls for styling us today. Our outfits look good.
I feel good, and it's comfy. And shout out to Notion Studios for this sweet setup.
I love it. I love our setup. Gets me in the mood.
In the zone.
What are we talking about today?
You know.
Pick one, guys.
We're going to be talking about babe supporting babes.
Babe supporting babes. The ins and outs and the truths about that culture. Let's get into it.
Okay. You kick it off.
I mean, okay. So when we first started our business, I had no idea about the whole babe supporting babes. I had dreams of what it would be in the sense of I'm a very naive person. And I was like, oh, this is going to be great. The community is awesome. I'm starting my own business. My friends, my family are going to support, but especially the community of babe supporting babes, the people that were already part of being an entrepreneur, being a female entrepreneur, mom, and all the things. And was I ever surprised? What do you think?
I think that I'm much like you, where I'm kind of naive, because I think where you and I agree is that there's space for everybody, and to feel like there's other people out there who don't feel that way. I think I kind of came to that realization a little bit later on. But yeah, it is wild. I don't love the term babe supporting babes. Why can't you just support people?
I agree with you. And it's one of those things where not that it came with a price, but it was kind of like a rude awakening. And even putting yourselves out there as a new entrepreneur and doing something that for us was in multi-level marketing was received, it comes with I don't know how to say it.
It comes with a je ne sais quoi.
It comes with a je ne sais quoi that sometimes I don't really like it. I'm in my head, it's very clear that everybody should be supporting everybody. And we've had some judgments, we've had criticism, we've had comments, people. What did you say yesterday in one of your stories? What'd you call them? The people leaving comments behind the screen.
Keyboard warriors.
I love that. Because it's kind of I'm hiding behind that screen and people feel like that's giving them permission to just lay it out and be mean. And there's this underlying bullying / judgment and criticism that females in this industry, especially in the babe supporting babes community, are allowing to happen, which it should be the other way around. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that we often support people or babes, whatever, if they align with our beliefs.
That's
right. Especially small shops too, right? It's that's such a community. I'm sure they have their own shit just like everybody else.
Yeah.
But I think that's another thing is when we support other women, it's but anything but network marketers or anything but XYZ. It's they almost is you have to fit into their mold of what is worthy of being supported.
Yes.
Right? What's worthy? That isn't. And I think it's so crazy. And now that we've been doing network marketing for a while, and no, this won't be a network marketing podcast, but it's part of our life.
It is.
Right? And we really love it. But it's realizing those who are really also successful in that business treat it like a business. Just like anything. How many times have you bought from a mom and pop shop and you didn't have a good experience and stuff like that? So I think it's just this notion of what qualifies, having the support.
Exactly. And also just getting out there as a female entrepreneur and starting your business from scratch. When we started our own businesses, and I know you've had some businesses in the past too, and I was a total newbie in this world. Think of the bigger picture. I am so unapologetic now, but that took some time to get there. And creating those boundaries too is I I know if I see a comment or like somebody criticizing me or judging me on whatever, I just know that it speaks more about that person and how they're living their life, or maybe they're unhappy in their career or in their personal life and they're taking out on me today, which is something that's common, unfortunately, but you kind of have to like create that boundary so that it doesn't get to you and doesn't like dim your light. Because guys, if you are an entrepreneur or you want to be, you just got to go for it. Regardless of what people are thinking or doing around you, it doesn't matter. It's about you. And I think that I love that way of thinking. And I'm able to say I'm following somebody that started their own their own business, and she's a female entrepreneur and she's starting from scratch. I'm going to encourage her. I'm going to go pump her tires. Maybe her product is not something that I would necessarily use personally, but I'm not going to go tell her that. She's living her dream. She's stepping outside of her comfort zone. It's nourishing that and like pumping that out. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's also smart to use our networks. And I also believe that's kind of where the network marketing thing kind of gets like a vibe.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
yeah.
A lot of people just market and they don't network. Where Sophie and we've learned to network, and that's why our business has stood the test of time over the past few years. But I always just also think, like, imagine linking arms with other people. Mm-hmm. I know, like, for myself, I try to do that. Same with you, like, being styled, the women at Notion Studio, LSK. Like, there's all these things that we can collab with. Candles. Remember when you had the girl that made those wicked candles?
Yeah.
So it's really about, if you want to support other women, like, link arms. You both have the end goal. And I remember when I used to sell real estate, sometimes like I couldn't deal, right? Yep. Like just the tone. And I remember on one call I said, listen, like, you want to sell the home and I want to have my buyers buy your home. Like, our end goal is the same. So why can't we work together? But it was kind of like a cockfight.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like that with women especially, it's just like this idea that we got to like one up ourselves, or if that girl gets Botox, ooh, we don't like her, or if that girl doesn't feed her kids GMO free, BPA free bowls, then she's not a good mom. It's like, it's all these like underlining like things. I think that also tie into this babes supporting babes awful name thing.
Yeah. I agree with you. Honestly, the shaming is a huge thing, and it's like, I don't feel like the guys do that. Maybe they do, but I wouldn't know.
We have two men in the room. We're like, are you nodding? Yeah. You're like, no.
No. Because at the end of the day, it's kind of like one of those things where I think there's a mix of like the feelings, the passion, the feminine energy. We feel like sometimes we have to like either protect our viewers or give them, like our reviews about a product and stuff like that. And I agree with those things to a certain extent. Your experience is your experience. It doesn't have to be the person that's looking at you or watching you. They don't have to 100% agree with you, and that's okay. But I don't think there's like a reason for shaming online, or sliding into somebody's DMs or commenting on their post after they put themselves out there saying that they're doing this business. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like that's like a parasite. You know what I mean? And I think that there's some people out there, if you're recognizing yourself doing that, there's some way to change. Just go and encourage the people around you and just switch that mindset a little bit. Yeah.
I get lots of messages. It doesn't bother me. Like the odd time, maybe something will get under my skin, but for the most part, I just let it go.
Do you feel like you're better at it though? Than now, I want to say like 5 years ago or whatever.
Yeah, in the beginning, and I think I was so nervous to put myself out there. Like, think about how nervous I was when we were like, we're going to do a podcast. And then it was, we're going to get people to help us do a podcast. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to be vulnerable in front of others?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get over it. It's getting you get out of your comfort zone first, and then everything becomes easier. But then there's a next level to the comfort zone. So it's like, I always think about like Mario, and it's like you're trying to get to Bowser's castle. You have to go through every single level.
Yeah,
You're not going to
exactly.
be awarded the next thing. So that just happens in any business. You're going to get people that don't agree with your opinion, or you don't agree. There's so many people I don't agree with, but I don't feel the need to bring them down, or you know what I mean? It's just, I'm over that. I'm so focused on where I'm going and what I want to do that I'm just not going to let outside influence. But I think that's a learned skill over time. So,
and you don't want to I say it all the time. Business karma is a real thing. I believe in karma so bad, guys, honestly, and the energy that you put out there. So, and I do believe in business karma too. So if somebody's approaching me and they're like, can we do a collaboration? Can we, exchange networks? I can help you grow. You can help me grow. It's that unspoken alliance. I think that's huge, and that's so valuable, especially in this type of business. And I think that people are missing out so much. Oops, sorry. I'm like, I'm getting really passionate. People are missing out so much on the opportunity to grow their networks because of their ego, and they're associating. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but it's kind of like they think that either collaborating with certain people is going to go against their values and things that, they want to portray or whatever. But at the end of the day, like you said, it's about, helping each other grow and just accepting those things of each other and accepting the difference. The beauty here is that we're all different and that there's room for absolutely everybody, especially in this platform and this type of work. Yeah. Yeah.
I like that.
What do you think? Do you think you are helping the women around you? Are you supporting them? Or do you feel like you're more so on the shaming side of things? That's a good question to ask yourself.
I also think we just grow. There's nothing wrong with having an ego. An ego we need, right? Because the ego drives us. The ego feeds.
Truth.
Feeds us. And it also shows us, friends with jealousy. It just shows you what you truly want. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just, are we reactive with it? And I think that also just kind of happens. And you kind of have to do that self overview of is this coming from a place because I want this too, and I'm just too nervous?
I love that.
Right? I'm too nervous to do it, so I'm going to shit on other people. And it happens to me till this day. And it's crazy how eventually you get super aware of it, just with little comments, little digs, little undertone things. I hear them, but you have to recognize what they are.
Yeah.
And understand sometimes, you know what, that person, they're just too nervous to move.
Hey.
They're too afraid to move. It's like what you're saying. Someone's, if they're in your DMs, you just kind of just wish them well. I had someone do that with that anonymous question. I had so many people come at me with stuff, and I was like, this is ridiculous. This person's having a bad day.
Yeah.
I don't really know. Maybe they're hangry. Maybe they haven't been out on a date in a while. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, it's not a reflection of me. And if it is, then, whatever.
There's always an underlining to what they're saying to you.
And everyone's not going to mesh with one another.
Yeah.
It's just, I see you. I see what you're doing. I respect what you're doing. You're very hardworking, XYZ, and just leave it at that. I don't know why we can't just do that. But
yeah. And I love what you said about the jealousy aspect, because I remember, I think it was Mel Robbins that did a piece on that. But that when you feel like you're jealous about something, it just goes to show that you actually really want it, and shifting that energy into that space instead of going after the person and telling them all the reasons why they shouldn't be doing it. It just goes to show, like you said, I just really want that, Yeah.
And, the first step is admitting it, that you really want something. Yeah. And then you have that fear that you admit to yourself you really want it. But then you're like, what if I can't get it? But then you just got to start to learn how to embrace the journey of running for it. For me, that's how I tell you all the time. Yeah. For me, I'm like, that's the most fun, is just having these big, audacious goals and just running after them just to see how far I can get. I'll get further than if I didn't do it. So it's still a win.
Exactly.
Right?
I love it.
Okay. Well, I think that sums up our Boss Babes convo. I feel like it was all over the place, but that's how we roll.
That's how that universe is. Let's be honest.
All right, guys. So if you enjoyed what we're laying down, you can follow us here on YouTube, or subscribe, share with a girlfriend, tag a girl. You know what I wanted to say.
Yeah, don't say it.
I can't. Anyways, until next time, guys.
Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on all our platforms. And don't forget to tag a hoe.